Hey guys, it's Celestia, and it's been a very long time since I actually just talked to you guys. Not presented a topic or tried to entertain you, but actually talked. To the point that I don't really even remember how to. But I both want to again and have a lot to talk to you about, so I'm gonna try. You should know in advance, though, that this is probably going to be a pretty messy video. It's semi-scripted, sure, but it's not, structured as an essay or anything, which means it's just, well, completely unstructured and all over the place. And we all know how I ramble, so I'm sorry in advance. Over the years, I've had the privilege of turning this channel from a hobby into a job, and I want to make it clear right off the bat that that's something I'm immensely grateful for, no matter what hurdles come with it. Making YouTube and art into a full-time career is something that I had only ever dreamed of, and it still doesn't feel real that I'm actually here doing this. And while this video is going to go over a lot of the problems that have arisen from making this my job, it's not for the sake of complaining about them. Those problems are more than worth the opportunity to make making stuff I love my job, and I wouldn't trade that for the world. And I have you guys to thank for giving me that chance, so the last thing I want is for you to think that I'm not grateful every day for that. I am. This channel, as small as it still is a dream come true, and I've never seen it as anything else, nor do I think I ever will. But what I do want to do is try to explain, well, a lot of things, and why they happened, and just give you guys a real heart-to-heart update on me, the channel, and what the future of both look like. Or hopefully look like. I don't know, we'll see. The point is that this video is supposed to be productive and hopeful, not negative and self-defeatist. I don't think explaining problems should be a negative if you're also looking forwards for solutions, and that's what I'm doing. And that starts with explaining why it's been so long since I last explained anything. Like I said, making YouTube into my job has been the ultimate privilege. I know very well that I'm mostly here because of luck, and the fact that so many of you guys have tolerated my dumbass for so long. And having this chance is not something I'm taking for granted. There's nothing I would rather do with my life than this, so the fact that I can means more to me than words can express. But turning YouTube from a hobby into a job came with sacrifices and changes that were so gradual that I didn't even fully realize I was making them. And maybe some of you didn't either, but some of you did, and you expressed that. And that was a wake-up call I needed to really think about how many changes there have actually been. So I want to talk about them and why they happened, and how I plan to approach them now that I've noticed them, because they weren't really intentional, and I'm not really happy with what they've led to. It's been a really weird transition, realizing that I've gone from rambling about whatever's on my mind to no one, to presenting real content to people who are listening. And trying to adapt to that change hasn't been simple. I realized early on that if I was going to make this my job, I would have to take it more seriously, and deliver more polish and quality and professionalism than I was in the beginning. And I still think that's important. I still think it's important to make sure that my videos are well structured, less rambly, more well produced, and more tailored to what people are currently interested in. I still think the fact that I don't say fuck 15 times an upload and go on 38 tangents for every one point I make is necessary to make sure that the content I make meets a level of quality that is expected of people making content for a living. I actually still don't think it does, but I'm working on that. And there are new sprites coming out as the first step towards improvement, since these ones are super outdated and bad, at least in my opinion, and I'm working on improving my video editing as much as I possibly can too. But somewhere along the line, I think I stopped seeing the difference between making technical improvements like that to maintain professionalism and quality, and completely removing all personality and passion from my content as a whole so that it was, I don't know. It was supposed to be so that it was professional enough for me to feel okay about making content creation my job, but it ended up making it too professional and erasing anything unique and authentic about it. Like that episode where SpongeBob became normal and just stopped being SpongeBob. And that's not what I want. That's never been what I wanted. There are growing pains when a channel grows enough to be a primary source of income rather than a side hustle, and I know that. I expected that, and I expected to screw up a lot along the way while I figured out how to make it work. But I guess I expected it to be obvious enough for me to notice it. I expected those screw-ups to be clear enough for me to see them and course correct. But they weren't, and I didn't see them, and my channel gradually came to be more bland and uninspired and impersonal than I ever wanted it to be. And there were a lot of reasons for that. Professionalism, like I said, was the biggest one. I started taking more and more of myself out of my content because I thought authenticity was unprofessional. In no small part because I'm just such a crass person, authentically. And not just that, there was this sense of responsibility that came with knowing that people were actually listening to the dumb shit I was saying. The casual, off-the-cuff, real way that I used to make videos was a luxury that came from knowing that those videos were inconsequential. No one really watched them. So if I said something stupid or crass or impulsive or unrefined, it didn't really matter. I was just making them for me, with the expectation that no one else would ever really watch them. So their quality or polish didn't matter. They could be rough around the edges. I mean, I'm rough around the edges. And when I was my only real audience, that was fine. But that changes when people start listening. I remember running one script by a friend. It was a story time about a convention that I went to and how much of an absolute disaster of a shit show it was. And I wanted to know if it was too harsh. And she basically told me that not only was it too harsh, it wasn't a responsible use of my platform. People were watching my videos and it could legitimately hurt the convention runners for me to disparage them so openly, even if I didn't mention them by name. I wasn't just making funny story times that a handful of people would watch. The stuff that I made was finally starting to reach people, and that meant that if I wasn't careful with how I made it, it could actually do harm to not just myself, but the people that I talked about and the people that were listening. So I started taking things more seriously, especially when people started commenting that they were learning from my videos and trusting them as a reliable source of information. And I realized that there was suddenly a lot more pressure to make sure that I was reliable and professional and not being careless about, well, anything. So I started censoring myself more, putting more effort into careful research and presentation than authenticity and passion, and watering myself down to be so inoffensive that there was no chance I could possibly say something wrong and fuck it all up. And I took that too far. And I didn't see until very recently that I took it so far that I was writing and voice acting essays that I would have written in school, rather than scripts that I wrote from the heart, and that in doing so, I lost the human part of this channel that made me want to make it in the first place. And you guys opened my eyes to the fact that for a lot of you, it was what made you want to watch me in the first place too, and the loss of it was felt. It wasn't just a poor transition towards professionalism that made me close myself off from you guys though, either, to be clear. It was also the struggle to handle parasocial relationships and negativity. I have people who hate watch my videos and comment just to shit on every single one. I have homophobes who regularly comment that they were so disappointed to learn that I was a lesbian that they have to pretend that they didn't know so that they can still watch my videos. People that have drawn not safe for work art of my most traumatic experiences. People that have told me to unalive myself over anything that they disagreed with. A person that stalked me for months and harassed me and my wife to try to convince us to be in some disturbing poly relationship with them, and so much more. And it's scary. And when you learn that the internet will tear every part of your genuine self that you show them to shreds, you stop wanting to show them anything. You start building a wall between yourself and your audience even when you don't want to, just to keep yourself safe from the people in it that are so hateful and cruel and obsessive that you just want to hide yourself away forever. And I guess I just ran so far away from them that I ran away from all of you. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to find a better balance between keeping myself comfortable and professional and safe, and removing my own personality and passion so much from my content that it's just generic, impersonal, repetitive rambling about art and nothing else that may as well be a cold and robotic high school essay rather than a love letter to the creativity that drove my passion in the first place. I've grown thicker skin, and I'm not scared to show more of who I am anymore just because I know people will attack every bit of it. I don't care anymore. I don't care what anyone thinks of me, positive or negative. And I'm really, really happy about that because it's an incredibly freeing feeling. But unfortunately, it only resolves a part of that problem. Because at the end of the day, this is my job now. And it being my job means I have a lot less freedom than I think a lot of you think I do. A lot of people are under the misguided impression that YouTubers make Mr. Beast amounts of money, and I can tell you with confidence that that is not the case. Monthly ad revenue barely pays my weekly grocery bill, and sponsorships are the only way that I can pay rent. And even then, I need at least 3 sponsored videos a month to be able to do that. And making 1 video a week means working at least 60 hours. Because I'm a one-man show here. I don't have editors, I don't have a team. I research my videos, script them, record them, edit the audio, make 1 speed paint a week at least for each one, and then edit each video. And to be absolutely clear here, I am not complaining about that. YouTube is my primary source of income and my full-time job, and I expect it to take up the majority of my time. It being hard work is not something I lament. Everyone pours most of their time into day jobs that burn them out and leave them exhausted and without time for anything else. And I'm honestly so grateful that my day job that takes up that time and energy is one that I love. A lot of people don't have that luxury. I didn't before now. And me saying content creation takes up all of my time isn't me saying I wish it didn't, because it's exactly what I would expect of any other job, and working hard to make a living at it is sincerely something that I'm grateful to have the opportunity to do, not something that I'm bitching about having to do. I love my job. I'm not telling you how long it takes because I don't, or because I wish it didn't take that long. I'm telling you because it's important for you to understand that because of that, the kind of content that I make here isn't really up to me anymore, even if I am finally at a point where I'm comfortable enough to make videos with more of myself in them, about a wider range of topics that I'm interested in. I don't really have that freedom. At least 90% of my time each month is spent making videos that are sponsored, and need to be sponsored for me to be able to survive. And sponsors, as professional companies with PR and media sensitivity to worry about, understandably don't like taking the risk of putting their name on videos that deviate from that channel's norm. For one, there's the risk that content that's less polished and professional will be of a lower quality, and may not attract the same audience that they're trying to reach. And they might not want their brand associated with content that doesn't meet the same standard of quality as the majority of videos on that channel. If I sent this video, where I fully intend to be messy and honest and crass, to a sponsor, and expected them to be fine advertising on it, I would be both an idiot and an asshole. I wouldn't want to put them in that position, and I wouldn't expect them to let me. There's also the risk that videos outside of the channel's niche will underperform, and the sponsor won't get their money's worth from that sponsorship. A very real concern that I completely understand, because most of the videos that I make outside of my niche do underperform, and I don't want to subsequently screw them over. They want consistency, and they want the assurance that the videos that they put their names on are going to meet certain expected standards of quality and professionalism. And by no means is that a bad thing, but if I have to make one sponsored video a week that meets those standards of quality and professionalism, and subsequently require me to talk about less diverse topics and water myself down just to get by, and that takes 60 hours a week at least, I don't have a lot of time for videos that don't. In fact, I don't really have any time, because I also have to work on my comic and merch during any downtime I have from content creation if I want to make any progress on them at all. And again, I don't have a problem with that. That's a sacrifice that I am more than willing to make and grateful to even have a chance to, and it's more than worth it to do my dream job. But it means videos like this, story times, media analysis, and passion projects that used to be a lot more frequently posted on this channel can't be anymore, at least not often. And I guess I thought no one liked them enough to care about their absence, and I'm sorry for making that assumption, because I hear you guys when you tell me that I was wrong. But to be completely blunt and honest with you, while I don't want to make this about money, in many ways, it is. We're living in a capitalistic dystopia. I need to make those 3 to 4 videos a month that are more professional than personal to make a living. And videos like this take just as long to make while generating almost no income at all. They get a quarter of the views, so there's little to no ad revenue, and they can't be sponsored, so there's no supplementary income there to make up for it. And I want to make them anyway, even if they don't make me any money, because I genuinely care about the things that I talk about in them. But I need to make money to live, so the videos that can make money have to take priority over these. I try my best to find time to make these ones on top of those, but that's just not easy. And that's why I get frustrated when people comment that they miss my for fun videos where I do story times and updates and passion projects and talk about shit that I love, like Animal Crossing and BoJack Horseman and my Christmas traditions and artists I look up to, because I want to make those more than anything, but it's not something I have the freedom to do. You guys have no idea what it means to me when you say that you understand if I need to take breaks, that you want to watch those videos even if they don't get views, that I should take more time to make more of that content even if it means taking longer to make than the more generic art-related topics that I mostly cover. But while that understanding does mean the world to me, it doesn't change that I just can't. If I take 2 weeks off without posting any videos to take care of myself or recover or work on a passion project, my channel will be so destroyed by the algorithm that I don't know if it could even fully recover. If I take longer to make videos, I don't have time to make enough videos to meet my minimum sponsor requirements, and then I can't afford to live. If I start making content I'm more passionate about that's outside of my niche, like media analyses and story times, not only do my views tank on those videos, the fact that they tank impacts every part of my channel. Sponsors see videos with low views, and they don't want to work with you anymore. The algorithm starts promoting your videos less if a lot of them underperform. If I start making content I know won't get views just because I love it, my livelihood is directly and immediately threatened. I don't prioritize videos that will get views because I want those views. And I would honestly love to go back to just talking about whatever's on my mind or getting me super passionate like I used to. But if I consistently get low views because no one watches or engages with those videos, that doesn't mean, oh well, at least I made something I love anyway. It means, oh, my career and financial stability are on the line a little more every single time I do that. I want to give you guys more shit like this, just honest, real talk that lets you in on what's going on behind the scenes, or what dumb things I'm obsessed with. But it's not that simple. Even this video that you're watching right now is gonna damage my channel, and that's something I need to consider with every single upload. And again, I can't reiterate this enough, I am not complaining about that. It's no different than any other job. I'm pretty sure no one can afford to take 2 weeks off because they're tired or burnt out or want to work on something they're passionate about. And no one gets to decide the particular tasks that they have to do every day at their job. I don't have a problem with the fact that making YouTube my job means that I'm in that position too, because I ultimately would be at any job. But it's so exhausting and demoralizing to constantly have people not see that this is like any other job in that regard. To have people comment that if I'm exhausted, I should just take a break, or if I'm passionate about a topic, I should just make a video about it even if it won't do well. I can't. I just can't. And I'm okay with the fact that I can't. But a big part of the reason that I'm making this video is that I need you guys to understand that it's not a choice I'm making. I'm not choosing not to give you guys the videos that you're asking for, or branch out and experiment and bring you fresh new content whenever I can. I just can't. I think a lot of people think content creators make their content as casually as viewers consume it, that they're as free to choose their topics as viewers are to choose the ones that they watch. And we're not. And it's okay that we're not, because it's our job. But there needs to be more understanding of the fact that we're not just able to, and choosing not to, and therefore deliberately letting you down. Most of us are just doing the best we can with what we have. And those limitations also leave us less free to avoid negativity than a lot of people think, too. One of the other things I hear a lot of is, talk more about positive stuff. Don't be so negative. And I agree completely and would love to listen. But because creators need to prioritize getting views just to get by, we need to cater to the fact that the algorithm only lets us get them if we give it what it wants. And what it wants, above all else, is negativity, controversy, drama, bad news. My videos roasting the worst art tropes that I hate do 3 times as well, if not more, than my identical videos talking about the best art tropes I love. Whether we like it or not, for the most part, we as human beings are just more drawn to things that make us angry than things that make us happy. Mostly because, in my opinion, the things that make us happy to watch only make us a little happy, but the things that make us angry to watch make us very angry, to the point that we're finally distracted from the real problems in our lives that we're tired of being angry about. That's just my theory, though. Point is, negativity is just more engaging than positivity, regardless of the reason. You're more likely to leave a 1-star review on an Amazon order that was cheap and broke immediately than you are to leave a 5-star review on one that met your expectations. Anger, for most, feels more urgent to express than satisfaction. And when it comes to videos and YouTube as a whole, the fact that anger makes people want to express stuff is exactly why negativity is so heavily rewarded by the algorithm. It doesn't promote videos that get a lot of views, likes, or shares. It promotes videos that get a lot of comments. The more comments a video gets, the wider its reach. And because negativity and controversy are the biggest motivators that people have to leave comments, videos that prompt that negativity are naturally the most successful. People generally don't go out of their way to comment on videos that they feel positively about or agree with, unless they're both really kind and really aware of how the algorithm works. But people will absolutely always go out of their way to comment on videos that piss them off or generate disagreement. It's not just that viewers are more interested in negativity, it's that negativity is the only thing that prompts them to engage with content in a way that the algorithm rewards. And the only other thing it rewards quite as much is consistency, which brings me back to the whole stuck in a niche problem that I mentioned before. I know a lot of the topics I talk about are similar and repetitive, and I'm no happier about that than you are. But if I talk about anything outside of that little sphere of art-related topics, those videos tank, because the algorithm doesn't promote them to anyone outside of that sphere that might be interested in anything else I have to say. Every video I've ever made about a topic that was slightly different or more passion-based and specific than usual has underperformed so badly that it's damaged my channel, because it's not consistent enough with the very specific genre of content that I'm already making, and the algorithm hates that. The more specific the thing I talk about, the less likely it is that general viewers will be interested in it. So I'm kind of forced to prioritize more generic, universally relevant content so that more of those general viewers are. They're the only ones the algorithm will push my videos to, and it'll stop even doing that if I don't cater to it. And all of this is why my content has shifted so heavily towards the professional rather than the personal, and why it's lost what made it human and mine. And for a long time, it made me really frustrated to see so many comments not understanding that, demanding that I change it back or make the videos they missed when I can't. But I realized while thinking more on it lately that of course people didn't understand why when I didn't tell anyone why. I just kind of expected you to understand my reasoning and get why I couldn't do the same stuff I used to, but that's not really something a lot of people know or understand if they're not creators themselves, and I never explained it. Most people don't see this side of content creation or understand how it works, like how literally anyone who doesn't do a particular job doesn't understand what that job entails. And it wasn't fair of me to expect you guys to just magically see why I couldn't do what you wanted without telling you. And that's why I'm making this video. I want to give that honesty and transparency back to you guys, and I want to let you guys back in on what goes on behind the scenes, so that you know why things are happening the way they are. I can't expect understanding from you if I myself am not understanding of the fact that you don't know what I'm expecting you to be understanding of. See, this is the kind of rambly run-on sentence bullshit that I try to limit for professionalism's sake. I swear to God, I can normally construct better sentences. My point is, I'm sorry that it's been so long since I took the time to just talk with you and let you in on the things that I used to share. And I'm sorry my content has gradually come to lose a lot of the personality it used to have. I want to find a balance, a way to bring that personality back through both my topics and my presentation of them, while still being professional and brand friendly. And I promise I'm working on it. I'm thinking of maybe trying to do monthly just chatting streams where I doodle bullshit and catch up with you guys. And I've also set up a form in this video's description where you can submit topic suggestions for videos that you're personally interested in seeing, so that the content I make is still what you want to see. Please try to keep it at least tangentially art related, because this is still an art commentary channel, but I want it to be an art commentary channel that discusses things that are important and interesting to you, not just me. I don't want to play it so safe that I hide myself away and avoid any topic that isn't generic enough to be harmless. There are a lot of things that it's important for me to do on my end to make improvements moving forward, and this is my promise that I'll do them. But there is one thing I'm asking of you to do too, and it's not just for me. It's for all of the creators that you support and enjoy. Please understand that we're human. We're people who are giving our all to making content for you to enjoy, and in order for us to do that, we need to make a living at it. And since we post it and make it available for free, we need to rely on things like ads and sponsors and Patreon and merch to fund that. We also need to prioritize topics and content that allow us to earn money from those alternative sources, even if that means sacrificing some creative freedom in the process. I understand why people get frustrated when creators shift their content in a direction their viewers don't like, or stop making as many of the videos that they like best. And I understand why people get angry that channels have sponsors that interrupt their content with ad reads. But most people hold space for TV shows that you have to pay to watch and still have ads because you know it keeps them running and able to make them. You understand that movies and shows and books all have to sacrifice certain creative freedoms to appeal to the widest possible audience, because otherwise they wouldn't have the funding to be made at all. Please hold that space for creators and their content too. Please see that we're doing the best with what we can. And while some greedy Mr. Beast sellouts might be selling out just for the money, most of us are just trying to get by while still making what we love. And it hurts to get hundreds of comments shitting on us for having sponsors on videos that we make for free just so that we can continue to do so. It hurts to have people constantly criticizing us for never being good enough, whether that's because we're not covering the right topics or speaking at the right volume or speed or playing the right music or getting to the point fast enough or editing videos well enough or posting often enough or any number of other ways in which we always fall short for someone, and someone is always there to tell us they hate us for it. We're people, and we're trying. Please try to see that we're human too, and more often than not, we just don't have the freedom that you think we do to do the things that you want us to. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Special thank you as always to channel members Joseph Solomon, TC Pratt, Zelda Deverak 42, Hierarchy Saluzzo, Kinga James, CB Low Thing, Art of Amethyst Fable, Extinction Animation, Indy the Hedgehog, Kai the Memer, Jazz, and Mad Girls Arts, as well as patrons Batman, Kyle Lowe, Blue Swanson, Cora Fear, Jamisha Walker, Alengshi, Kim Yuen, Crazy Asar, Gentong, Grayson Xavier, Blah Mage, TC Pratt, Finn, Celine Merriman, Eldritchia, The Stray Dog, Allura, Greg Noble, Decagon, Jenny Chan, Catbus, Muck, Lucy Amajiki, Selena Beebe, Pryday, Totally Shogun, Insomniac Sleep Schedule, Wing Tang Wong, Marie Greer, Potato, and Jazz. And I'll see you in the next one.